Welcome to the ANGLERTALK podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
What is up, everybody? It's Chris back again with another episode of Angler Talk, and the time is upon us. The spring of 2023 is here. The rods are starting to bend. The stripers are biting. It's going on heavy out there in Raritan Bay. I've seen so many pictures of 40-plus pound fish, the 30-pound fish. May is right around the corner. You know, that supermoon comes in. Those big 50 and 60-pound fish are out there, guys. It is a time. Get out there, catch and release. Let them go. Let them grow. Sustain this species as long as we can. But this week I do have a guest by the name of Joe Santiago, who is a host of another podcast called the Multi Species Angler Podcast. He is a New Jersey native, and we're going to sit down. We're going to talk some fishing about, sit down and talk fishing about where he fishes, the area that he's located in, and some programs that he's involved in. And I hope you guys enjoy. And here I am with the New Jersey multi-species angler, Joe Santiago. How you going, brother? How's it going tonight?
What's up, Chris? It's good to finally be on here.
Yeah, man. We've been trying to link up for a little bit, man. But you are one of those guys in New Jersey that when you talk about bending a rod, you get out there and get after it, man. From everything from the sweet water to the lakes, man. What is the area that you're in New Jersey?
I live in Moonachie, so I live in a kind of like not a great fishing place. Like most of my friends don't live anywhere near me that fish.
Gotcha.
I'm in Bergen County, so it's pretty much an hour drive to go fishing anywhere good, really.
Yeah.
But mainly Lake Apacon, Spruce Run, Round Valley. I fish all the rivers, trout fish, pretty much all the rivers, North Jersey. And then there's certain lakes I hate. I hate Monksville. Got friends that love Monksville, but I hate it. Bud Lake, I hate Bud Lake. I know people that like it. It's just, I don't know. But yeah, Lake Apacon mainly, that'd be the biggest one.
Yeah, man. I mean, you mentioned some pretty big bodies of water over there. Lake Hepatcon is one of the hugest lakes in New Jersey. So is Spruce Run and Round Valley. And what kind of stuff are you targeting out there?
Everything. Literally
everything?
Target everything. Believe it or not, weird, I get busted a lot for this. The only fish I don't target is largemouth bass. I fish for everything except that. And I get constantly ridiculed for it and bashed on Facebook. But yeah, that's an ongoing joke, me bass. But yeah, the thing that makes that lake so amazing is the bait population in it. The bait population, Lake Apacon, that lake pretty much supplies every bait store in the state with herring, and it still has enough herring in it to sustain hybrids, walleye. It has basically almost every species in there except northern pike. So you could pretty much almost catch everything there.
Well, they got muskies in there too?
Oh, yeah. Lake Pacon's one of the biggest muskie lake, yeah. Big time.
Me and probably every angler in the world has always dreamt about catching a muskie. The fish that they call the fish of 10,000 casts. All the stars have to align to catch these things. And
you want to hear something? I'll tell you, honestly, my own opinion. I took on the muskie thing because I got obsessed with it, and I said, oh, I have to get one. I just became infatuated with it. All right, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to go muskie fishing until I catch one. Went probably on 20 trips. During the 20 trips, I saw more people catch them on accident than people trying to catch them. Like bass fishermen with 6-pound test and a Senko would bring in a 48-inch muskie while the muskie guy caught nothing.
Wow.
But I had one on and I lost it. I lost 2 of them. That broke my heart. And then I finally landed one, and I landed my first one. And I got to tell you honestly, after all the hard work, and everything that went into going after a muskie, because I'm talking you're out on the water 10 hours casting without even seeing a fish some days, and that's normal to them. I'm here holding this fish, and it was not anything like the accomplishment that I thought it was gonna be like, and I just kind of crossed muskie off my list. They're not. It didn't fight like I thought. It didn't. I mean, they're amazing to see, incredible to see in the water and shit, but I wasn't impressed by the fight. I wasn't impressed by the hit.
So it definitely did not live up to the hype. Is what you're saying.
No. I feel that a northern pike of the equal size would have shredded what this fish did. You know, like it just came in pretty easily. You're fishing. You have 65-pound test on with huge fluorocarbon. Once this fish is hooked, it's coming in. You know, like you're using a heavy action rod, so it wasn't. I don't know. I put so much time into it, and I thought it was going to be so cool to finally accomplish it, and it wasn't. Like catching a 16-inch crappie was more of an achievement to me than the muskie. But everyone has their own thing that they're into. Like I said, I don't fish for bass. The whole world fishes for bass, and I don't. So you just can't go by what I do.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you did mention crappie and bass, and last week I went out with a couple buddies of mine, and I caught my first ever crappie. I mean, if everybody listens to the show knows, I don't, really do the sweetwater all that much, but it is something that I want to get more into. And I went out there with the purpose to catch a bass, and I ended up throwing a chatterbait, and this nice little fat crappie, decided to inhale a chatterbait, which kind of took me out by surprise. I wasn't expecting that, and I still haven't beat my PB largemouth bass. My largemouth bass that I caught a couple years ago, my first and only up until Sunday, was 11.5 inches. I didn't think it was possible. Yeah, I didn't think it was possible for me to catch something smaller than that. But the largemouth that I caught this past Sunday, I think that if I said it was 10 inches, I'm being generous.
Oh, I saw the picture. I saw the picture of that. Yeah, that's funny. I saw that post. See,
man, but you posted up some pictures a day or two before I did, and some of these crappie that you're catching out there in Lake Hapicon, man, these things are huge.
They're huge. I think bass fishermen especially, like, they're so tunnel visioned in on bass that they're just not paying attention to other shit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I cursed. I apologize. And trout fishermen are the same way. Now, I'm a huge trout guy. Love fly fishing. I tie my own flies. I'm a huge fly fisherman. Mm-hmm. And you got all these guys out in the river with their ultralight rods, and they're looking to catch 9-inch stock rainbow trout. There's nothing wrong with that. It's trout fishing. That's what it is. It's great.
Absolutely.
But you could be on the lake catching 12-inch crappie on an ultralight, and they'll outfight a 9-inch trout. So if 90% of the state wants to go fish the river for trout, I'm on my boat by myself catching 14-inch crappie on an ultralight. I'm catching awesome. 9. What is the, like, some fishermen don't seem to understand the relevance. The weight of the rod is relevant to the size of the fish.
Absolutely.
Catching a 9-inch sunfish on an ultralight and catching a 9-inch trout on an ultralight, I mean, people will sometimes look, oh, that's a sunfish, no one cares. Oh, that's a trout, that's nice. I don't understand that. I don't get that logic at all, but it is.
They pick and choose what species are relevant and what species are not. Like, for instance, one of the things that I enjoy catching, not because of the fight or anything, like sea robin. And I get a lot of hate online for this. I honestly prefer to eat sea robin than I do summer flounder. For me personally, in my opinion, the sea robin tastes better. And of course, obviously, you gotta know how to cook. But for me, it just tastes better. And a lot of people, I get bashed online a lot because of that, because I say I'd rather keep a 20-inch sea robin than an 8 or 10 pound fluke. Because for me personally, going fishing is not only for the sport, and I love it, and I catch and release a lot that I don't eat. But, at the end of the day, I also do want to put food on the table. And
Yeah,
for people to call a lot of fish trash species and this, that, and third, I mean, if you just give it a shot and, like you just said, a 9-inch bluegill will fight harder than a trout, because I've caught both. I've caught trout
yeah.
and I've caught bluegill. Trout is just, you get those first little bang bangs and that's it. It's wheeling in a wet
I
sock.
think
But
that I think that's one of the reasons that like I'm turned off by the whole bass fishing industry is because they have such tunnel vision. There's so many more. We go crappie fishing, we go walleye fishing, we go hybrid striper fishing. As soon as I'm done recording this podcast, I'm leaving to Lake Pacon to go trolling for walleye. So I
nice.
mean, there's so much more to do than I don't know. It just seems like they're just bass, bass, bass. I don't know. I don't. It's not my thing. Not for
I
me.
hear you, man. I totally understand that. And if more guys would be open to just trying something different, that it can make a world of a difference in the fishing world, and in their hobby of fishing as well.
Now, like
You know?
if you get into the area of like South Jersey, like pretty much once you go south of Round Valley Reservoir, from there
Hmm.
down, I mean
Yeah.
they're limited basically to just bass, pickerel, and snakeheads when it comes to
Yeah.
freshwater. They might have a couple trout stocked ponds. They have no stocked rivers. They don't have hybrids. They don't have walleye. They don't have muskies. They don't have anything. They have bass, pickerel, and snakeheads. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I understand their pain that that's all they can fish for, and that's the game. Now, they have to
Yeah.
drive 2 hours north. I'm not going to bash them, but I don't know. I'm not actually bashing anybody. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just think if you think you're cool because you caught a 9-inch stock trout on an ultralight rod and someone else isn't cool because they caught a 14-inch crappie on an ultralight, you're just
Exactly.
confused. You're mixed up.
And from what I've heard, and I personally have never really eaten freshwater fish. I kind of have to get over that thing of eating stuff that is in still water. For me, like a lot of people say, "Ew, you eat striped bass that's in the Hudson." Well, a lot of people don't realize that striped bass is a migratory fish. It comes
Migratory.
in and goes out with the current. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's constantly moving. Now, for me, with something that sits in a still lake that has no outlet, what I'm saying, it's kind of different. But there is something that I want to try, which is the crappie we spoke a lot about. And from what I hear, especially down in the south, crappie is a delicacy. Is
It
that
is.
something that you personally put on your dinner plate?
I personally don't kill that many fish myself. Like I don't
Okay.
keep that many fish, but it crappie is one of the better pan fryer fish. Walleye and yellow perch are the best. Like walleye is almost better than lobster. Um,
Gotcha. Wow, I've heard that before, actually.
Walleye's number one. I mean, if you get walleye, there's nothing better than walleye until you go to the saltwater, obviously. In the freshwater, walleye's the best. But like I said, I hate killing them. Um, but yeah, it is good. And crappie, yeah, you could get a nice meal. Sometimes we have like, it's 25 a person, the limit.
Wow.
So you could
Yeah.
each fill a bucket and then all hang out, have a pan fry. But
There
you
you go.
actually you mentioned fluke. I have to tell you this before I forget. Of all the fish I've set out to catch, and I really have, I've caught some real crazy stuff. I've gotten lucky and put a lot of time in over the years. The one fish
Hmm.
I have not caught is the fluke.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a big fluke ever. Ever.
Yeah. I mean,
I've gotten the 60-pound stripers. I've gotten everything I've chased. Like I said, the muskie story, but that doormat fluke, dude, never. Probably 20 years I've been fluking. Never.
yeah.
No doormat, bro. Never. It's just that
Yeah.
one. The doormat fluke to me for some reason is my white whale. Like I'll go catch a bluefin tuna right now, easier than a 26-inch fluke. I don't know. Maybe
Oh crap.
I'm cursed with doormats. I can't get one.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. And for the people listening and watching, I hope that they don't misconstrue what I said. Fluke is not one of those things where I really enjoy eating. It is fun to catch, but my favorite type of fishing is bottom fishing.
Me
Anything
too.
from sea bass to ling to cod to blackfish. That blackfish is
Even in freshwater, I like jigging
yeah,
the best, which is the same. What's
yeah.
the
And
biggest fluke you ever caught?
my biggest fluke I've ever got was 14.3 pounds,
How
and
long's that?
uh,
That's got to be. Well,
30.
that's over 28
That was
inches.
no, I was a 32 and a half, 33 inch fich.
I
And
don't. I've never broken 24 inches. I don't think.
in all honesty, that hasn't happened in almost 20 years. I was 8 years old when that happened. I have
Was
not
that
caught a.
was that in
Uh,
New Jersey?
that was in New Jersey. Back in the day, my dad used to take us camping a lot to Sandy Hook, and there used to be a little island in the middle of the bay where he would take the boat up, park the boat, pitch the tent, and everything. And when I'm at the beach, I'm like a fish, dude. I want to be in the water. So I'm up at freaking 6 o'clock in the morning trying to go swimming. And my dad's chasing me around like, stop, it's still dark. What are you doing? And he's like, you want to go fishing? So whatever. So we grab the net, we net up some spearing, and it's just me and him, brother, sister, mom. They're in the tent, knocked out. You know what I'm saying? And we go out, and we were right in front of Horseshoe Cove, which is where the Coast Guard is in Sandy Hook. And I remember, I'll never forget this because my dad's face told the whole story. We're drifting, and I got two spearing on and one squid strip. And I'm just, every 10 seconds getting a little flutter. And then I just feel the rod go like this. So I'm 8 years old. I'm still kind of new to fishing. And I tell my dad, I'm like, I'm stuck. So my dad reels up to come and help me out. And then as he's walking, the rod just goes like this. And I went like that. He's just like, you ain't stuck. So he's just like, start reeling. So I start reeling it in, man. And this thing is yanking. And it's yanking and yanking. And it's coming up. And he just screams, doormat. And like four boats flying by get off the gas and stop. Like they start fishing right next to us. And he nets it up. And, we bleed it out right away because, my family's European and we don't care how big it is. We want to eat it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, yeah.
freaking, my dad hangs it up on the T-top on the boat and is just riding through the whole bay. And everybody's looking and I'm like, that's a big ass fluke. You know what I'm saying? So like, that was probably like my dad's like proud moment of me when I was a kid. But I haven't caught a fluke that big since. I probably got maybe, and this might be being generous, maybe 5 or 6 doormats since. That was 8. I was 8 years old, and I'm 34 now. So
It's
not that
better than.
many.
Well, I'm 37 and I have 0 doormats. So you're
Yeah.
beating me
You know
because
what I'm
I
saying?
just cannot seem to. I can't get one, man. I don't know why.
I mean, in all honesty, it's fishing is fishing. We know that. Every day is different. You just got to be at the right spot at the right time, and honestly, it's a lot had to do with luck. Yeah,
My whole theory with fishing is the more time you put in, you're bound to run into one eventually. But just for some
Yeah.
reason, me and this fluke are not running into each other ever.
I
Like I
hear
don't.
you, man. And like in all honesty, I don't put in the time on fluke, and it's not because I don't like catching them because they are extremely fun to catch, but it's just the regulations that they pound on us in this state with these
Yeah.
saltwater fish. I kind of don't want to go striper fishing. I mean, I don't really like eating striper all too much. I do eat it, but not too much. I like the smaller ones, but to be only to keep one fish from 28 to 38 inches, it's kind of like if you go on a head boat, that's $90 that you're spending just to keep one fish.
Yes.
For fluke, we're only allowed to keep two fish, 17 inches and one over 18. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, do I really want to spend 90 on a head boat or maybe 200 on a charter to keep 3 fish? Is it really worth it at that point? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't target that much. My favorite thing to catch and eat is ling. I prefer ling over tuna fish. That's just my favorite fish in the ocean to
Yeah.
catch and
Ling
eat.
is cool.
And
Ling's
blackfish, I don't care if they said you can't keep none. I will be out there every day that I can fishing for tog, man.
They're
That
good.
tug, that tug is the drug. It is unexplainable when you catch a tog.
I agree. I do agree. I've never caught a big one of them either. I've caught nice ones, but not a giant. Hopefully, but I still think sea bass to eat. Sea bass is the best
Oh
of
yeah,
all.
absolutely. Sea biscuits are delicious, man,
They're the
and
best, and I
you
can
know
keep 15 of them.
exactly. And but the thing is with ling, there's no limit.
Yeah.
There's such an abundance on them. You know what I'm saying?
Now let me ask you something though. Now I'm a guy that doesn't really care about keeping fish. I'm into catching them. Now you're talking about keeping fish.
Hmm.
Now that slot striper thing that they made, which is now a pain because you could only keep one fish,
Yeah.
but now the striper fishing is so amazing that no one knows what to do. I
Hmm.
mean, we can't even get out fishing for anything else because we can't get past the stripers.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Now you can't keep fish, but the fishing's now incredible. But then
Well,
also in the negative, the bluefish have vanished on top. So that's
yeah.
another
Well,
variable.
like I spoke to Jim Hutchinson a while back. Bluefish do this cycle like every 3 years. Well, they'll come in with an abundance for like 3 years, and then they'll disappear for 3 years. And
Yeah.
in all honesty, in our inshore waters, for me on light tackle, besides blackfish, there is nothing in our water more fun to catch than a bluefish.
No.
I don't like eating it. I have tried bluefish in every way possible except for one way, which is smoked, which is what a lot of people say is the best way to eat them. But I don't have a smoker. And but as far as catching, releasing fish, bluefish is definitely there for me. That's one of my favorite things to catch and release. And but striped bass, a lot of people, hate when I say this because it is New Jersey's game fish. But in all honesty, striped bass to me are kind of boring. You get that first initial 30 to 45 seconds, depending on the size of the fish, you might get a minute of a run. But it's a power fish. It is not a fighting fish. It
Power.
goes straight down, and when it's tired, it's just reeling in a wet sock. That's
It's a
all it
sam-
is.
it's a salmon versus steelhead. Same thing. It's the
Yeah. So
dead
it's
weight
like,
power versus speed.
I mean,
The
it's
blue
still
the,
fun to catch.
the
Like,
bluefish the bluefish has the violent head shake, the
yes,
long run. A walleye's like that. The walleye kind of has the wet towel, uh, the wet rag syndrome, but they don't have that. But the bluefish, yeah, is unrivaled. In New Jersey, no doubt about that.
yeah.
I'm curious though if that theory is correct and they are going to come back. What's going to happen when they come back and they see the biggest wall of stripers that they've ever seen in history? I mean,
Well, the
because
thing is, I don't
if this
really think that.
continues, if what's going on continues next year, you won't need a boat. You'll just like be able to walk across the stripers
Yeah.
and fish wherever you want because there will be no water left. It'll just be stripers. It's not even May
I
yet, and
mean,
there's stripers everywhere.
the thing is, obviously, they compete with the bait. Everything just eats a bunker.
Yeah.
Menhaden, whatever people call them. In the South, I know they call them pogies. But if you notice, if you've ever paid attention to your sonar when you're on Raritan Bay and you're catching stripers, and then all of a sudden the bluefish show up. Like if you can variate the marks, like if you were paying attention to what the marks of the stripers look like, you'll see that those marks will just go down to the bottom, and the bluefish will stay up chomping everything away. But the thing is, there's such an abundance of bunker in our water right now, especially within the 3 mile line, because the big omega boats are not allowed to come in and net them up. That the stripers, it's a lazy fish. It wants the easy meal. So when those bluefish are ripping through the bunker, slicing these bunker in half, eating half, and the rest is just dropping, the
Drop.
stripers are just down there eating scraps. So they don't really attack each other, not that I know of. I mean, I'm not a marine biologist and I don't do scuba diving, so I really can't tell you the 100% answer on that. But I don't think that it's an issue. I mean, I just think that the ecosystem is starting to really thrive. Um, a lot of the data that you see with these NOAAs and all this stuff, it's really really off. I don't believe that it's as bad as they say it is because guys like us, we're out there all the time fishing and we see the
No,
fish. You
I
know.
do think though that they showed the limit has always been based on, all right, well the fish has to be over this size and you can kill it. That's
Hmm.
how the bag limit's always been. Once it gets this big, you can kill it and keep it. But now over time, they've obviously figured out that those bigger ones are the ones that are having babies.
Hmm.
So you keep the slot fish. You have to let the reproducers grow, and within 3 years, they've made striper fishing absolutely ridiculous. I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, from a standpoint of a person like me, I don't fish. I do not fish charter boats. I don't fish party boats. We fish off our own boats, and I don't
Mm,
keep fish. So, from my perspective, I love the slot fish. I don't care if they made it catch and release and it made
yeah.
the fishing awesome. But I understand that it crushes the business of the party boats. It hurts the fishing industry. It hurts people like you. I'm all for it. Whatever the bag limit is, it is. But that
Mm.
I mean I think the striper is the proof in the pudding. What's the saying?
The proof in the pudding, yeah.
The
And
pudding in the proof, whatever it is. I mean that's slot fish. It works. It's effective.
I mean, but in all honesty, when they first made the regulation for the one fish from 28 to 38, that was the year that I remember having a buddy out there, and also myself being out there in the Hudson Canyon, tuna fishing, and we're seeing pods of striped bass. You know what I'm saying? Now we're talking 90, 100 miles offshore. Yeah, there's stripers out there. You can't catch them past 3 mile line, but it's just it's all about the bait. Wherever the bait is, the fish is going to be at. The predator is going to be behind it. So if the bait wasn't coming in, there was no necessity for the bait for the predator to come in. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, "Oh, the stripers are disappearing." The stripers are out there. You know what I'm saying? But there's no proof to show that the mortality rate is this, that, and the third. Like, look, man, I've been fishing for 28 years. I have gut hooked one striper in my entire life, and that was because I was fluke fishing off the beach using a smaller hook with clam on it, and the striper swallowed the hook. It
You're
was legal
talking
size.
now. You're talking about the new circle hook regulation.
Yeah, which is, in all honesty, I cannot stand the circle hook because I am so used to setting a hook.
Yeah, I am
So,
too.
when I can't do this, it's just like, okay, you took that fun part away. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and I ended up keeping it because it was a legal size fish. It was a 29-inch fish, and we don't waste fish here. I do keep fish for the house for the dinner table, but obviously, I'm not going to bring home 700 ling. I'll bring home 20, 30 ling. I don't mind freezing ling. I know how to take care of it and vacuum seal and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But if I have had days where I'm on boats like the Fishmonger, for instance, Jerry is probably one of the best captains in this country, not just the state.
You ever
And
get on his boat for blackfish?
I have. He is the man who taught
Have you
me how to.
really?
Yeah, he taught me how to fish for blackfish, and
You can't get a blackfish date with him till like 2047.
yeah, I was lucky enough to meet a guy named Joe Murray who has his dates, with Jerry over the next few years,
Yeah, he has
and
repeat clientele. That
and
dude is the best. He's the
yeah,
best black fisherman that I've ever seen.
absolutely, man. If I could even, be a quarter of having the knowledge, a quarter of the knowledge that Jerry has, I'd be
Yeah,
happy with that. This man is by far one of the best fishermen that I've ever seen, one of the greatest captains I've ever seen, heard of. I talk to people in California who are fishermen, and they're
yeah.
like, "Yo, do you really know Captain Pastorino?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's a cool dude, man." And they're like, "Man, that guy's a legend." Now, these are people in San Francisco that's heard about this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want? I
And
got a funny story about him, bro. Uh, my partner Chris, you know Chris, right? His Facebook's Matt Nelson, but his name's really Chris.
yeah,
He he's like the biggest black fisherman I know. He's just like me, fishes for everything, a lot of freshwater, but he loves blackfish.
Yeah.
So he's got like this Jerry Pastorino guy's like his dream. I've been listening to him just chit chat about Jerry Pastorino all the time. I'm hearing this Manasquan, whatever. So there was this it was like a venison game dinner, some game night or something, and Chris puts a raffle ticket in this cup for a free fishing trip, right? He wins it. So he wins it, and he looks at it, and it's a free charter trip with Fishmonger.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So now he calls me, he's going crazy. I won a trip with Fishmonger, 4 people. We're finally going with him. So he calls him up and he says, "Oh, I won this trip. I want a free trip with you." So Captain Jerry was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go sea bass fishing." So Chris like, "Oh no, I wanted to go black fishing." So Jerry's like, "Oh no, I don't have any black fishing availability for the next 5 years. You're not going black fishing." Like. Yeah. So he ended up getting to go sea bass fishing with him, and it ended up being the best sea bass fishing trip he's ever been on in his entire life. Yeah. But he still says to this day, "We have to get on that boat. We have to get on that boat." Yeah, I don't know.
I've been out with Jerry quite a few times, man, and it's an experience in its own. I fished with a lot of captains here in New Jersey, other states, Florida, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and the experience will nothing has touched Jerry yet. I mean, he shows you a day on the water that you will never forget.
I could tell. I see. I go at him. I go out of that inlet a lot. I don't want to totally blow him up, but I go out of the same inlet he does. So I fish in the waters. I could tell just by watching the way that he anchors his boat that he knows what he's doing, because a lot of anchoring a boat for black fishing is not as easy as it looks.
Oh no, definitely not.
But that dude Pastorino just goes out there and does it like it's like an automatic button. Like I've watched him. I'm like, he's anchored already. Like we were here before him trying. He's done already. Just
I mean, let me tell you something.
He's a freak in his own right.
That man doing a double anchor is way better than any spot lock in the world. I can guarantee that. Is it a double
anchor or a triple anchor? Because the front of the boat looks like it has 2 ropes coming out of it, and then
it does. Just one is going to the back, the other one's in the front.
Yeah, and that boat is the boat is an unmistakable color, so he's not easy to find. So, like we always know, if you're going at a Manasquan, bring your binoculars and look for that color. We're looking for. He needs to paint it a different color because we are following you. Anywhere you go, we're following you.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I'm on just listening to the VHF, and there's just like, has anybody seen the green boat? You know what I'm saying? That that they're looking for Jerry, man. But not to sidetrack a lot, but Jerry is a great captain, and definitely I hope to aspire to be a quarter of what he is one day, and I'd be happy with that, man. But we're here talking about you, man. And before we started recording, we were talking about something that you do with the state of New Jersey, little tournament style thing that they do, where you have to go target a bunch of fish. You want to elaborate on that?
So NJ Fish and Wildlife runs a program. It's called the Skillful Angler Program. Okay. Me and my partner Chris Pereira have a podcast where we pretty much focus on that program. Basically what it is every game fish in New Jersey, now it's a catch and release program. There's a certain length for every species. You have to take a picture of the fish on the tape measure that breaks that length and email it to the state. And then you'll get a Skillful Angler certificate. It's like a real nice certificate from the state, and it says the fish, where it was caught, the date. They send those out at like the end of the year. So whatever you sent in for this year, you get them all at the end of the year in a packet. So
gotcha.
And then intertwined in that, there's like there's these other challenges, like they have elite angler, which to do that you have to catch any 5 qualifying fish of different species. And then they have master angler, where you have to enter any 10 fish. So it could be 10 stripers, but they could all be the same fish, but it's got to be 10 of them during 1 year. That's the master. Then they have panfish slam, which is like a perch, a crappie, and a sunfish, all 3 of the size. There's an inshore slam, there's an offshore slam for saltwater. They have everything on there. It's really awesome. Skillful angler. A lot of last year the state of New Jersey had 167 submissions. 157 of those were freshwater, and 10 of those were saltwater. And of those 10 saltwater, 6 of them were me and my partner Chris. So there are a lot of and on top of that, of the 13 saltwater species that are on there, only striper and 1 other species was even entered. So saltwater fishermen don't even really partake in this, or I think what it is the freshwater fishermen have a tendency to read the compendium a lot more, like it's a magazine, so they read through all this stuff. The saltwater guys don't have time to read stuff, so they miss all this. They don't even know it's there. Like they're just getting on the boat and they're going.
Exactly. We want to get out there and bend some runs.
It's a different animal, but yeah, the program is there. Like you get this thing that says your name, and it says State of New Jersey Certified Elite Angler, and then it has all the fish on. The certificates are like they have the seal in New Jersey. They're beautiful. It's awesome. It's all
freaking
free.
Awesome, man. It sounds like this program really pushes you to test your limits of what you can do as an angler. It makes you want to go out there and catch different things, target different things, and
it does. It really does. Chris will call me and say, "Oh, you want to drive 2 hours south and go for a bowfin?" No, not really. I don't. Oh, well, maybe we'll get a skillful angler one. Okay, I'll go. So yeah, it does. It kind of throws that in, like, oh, I've never gotten a certificate for that species. Yeah, maybe I'll try.
Absolutely, man. It definitely gives you the incentive to want to hit those accolades, and that's really cool. And this is something I never knew of. And for a lot of people living in New Jersey, man, I encourage you to go check this out. As am I. This is something that I'd like to look into. Hopefully, one day when I have a little bit more time where I'm not working like the headless chicken that I do, I like to get out there and target a lot more, man.
I'm pretty sure the skillful angler striper right now is 43 inches. So if you get a 45-inch striper, get it on a tape measure, take a clear picture of it, and you're in. I mean, you email that in with the application filled out, you'll get a certificate for it at the end of the year.
That's awesome, dude, man. But there is something you did mention, and I have watched a couple episodes. You do run a podcast called the Multi-Species Podcast, and you're on there giving a lot of tips and tricks of how to catch different fish, man. This is awesome. Let the people know about it, so that way at the end of this video they can go check out the description box down below and follow some links and check you out.
So basically the idea me and my partner Chris Pereira came up with was we wanted to build a podcast that would be interactive between the fishermen of New Jersey and the skillful angler. Okay. So we have the podcast, and then we have a Facebook. It's a private Facebook fishing group called Multi-Species Mayhem. Anyone can join there. You could join. Anybody could come in. We share pictures in there. We share daily updates. If someone wants to complain to us on the podcast, they could write it on that group page. Like, it's a private, interactive group. So it's kind of a podcast that's like, it's interactive between the people and the skillful angler community, and try to help each other and pass some tips out. Obviously, if you get labeled as a spot burner, then you're done. You're just done. So you can't do that. Like, if you ask me where to go, like if someone says, like, where do I go? Like, what spot? I'm not going to tell you that. Like, that's my own hard work that found that. I'll tell you how to put yourself in the best situation, but I'm not going to walk you there.
Exactly.
No, I'm just not gonna. You got those people don't understand. Like you said, they see the pictures on Facebook from the other day on Spruce Run where we caught 15 crappie over 15 inches. It was one of the best days crappie fishing. So everyone's messaging us. Well, where'd you get those fish? It's all well and good, and I understand that. But what you don't see is the last time we went to Spruce Run, we fished for 14 hours without a bite. Yeah. You don't see that. You don't see that picture on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So people see the pictures and they're kind of, oh, these guys are great. We were out there, man, looking for days.
They don't see the legwork.
Yeah, so if you think that you're going to come on my podcast and I'm just going to tell you where things are, that ain't going to be how it works. I'll tell you how I did it, but I'm not going to give it to you.
Exactly. You got to work hard for that too, man. You got to put in the time and pay your dues just like everybody else.
The podcast is on YouTube and Spotify. We're going to have you on our podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Too. We're going to work that out. Definitely.
And it's the podcast is the NJ Multi Speacies podcast. We do some fishing videos, but they're not good yet because I'm not good with the GoPro yet. I'm just learning. But I did start filming some stuff. And then the group is NJ Multi Species Mayhem Fishing. That's the private group.
Absolutely,
and we have 7 free trips to Lake Apacon Guide Service that we're going to give away. We're going to start giving them away within the next 2 weeks. So we got some pretty cool trips to give out. I'm hoping some kids get on to win these trips. I'm hoping.
Absolutely, man.
There's no bias. The giving the trips out is going to be fair, but I am biasly hoping that there more kids win these.
I hear you, man. I'm going to be trying to win one myself. You know,
anyone's welcome.
And you told me muskie, and unfortunately, I've had a damn dream about that fish. I got to catch one. Even if it doesn't live up to the hype, it's just something that you got to scratch off the bucket list. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this: if you really want to, if that's really your goal, and you're going to go after one, your 2 months are May and November. Those are the 2 months that you should be all out muskie warfare. May they're coming off the spawn looking to eat heavy, and they're plus all the trout stockings going on, so the dinner bells just ring and they're just eating all the stock trout. Nice. And then in November, as soon as it starts getting cold and they think the ice is coming, they put the feed bag back on. Because those fish, on a regular average, those fish will only eat about once every 3 days.
Wow.
So yeah, they don't eat that. You get a lot of follows. They don't eat it though. But those 2 months is when the feed bag's on, and also the dropping barometric pressure. If you see the barometric pressures rising, don't even bother going musky fishing. And I don't believe in. On a side note, I don't believe in any of that stuff. But I could tell you this from experience: if the barometric pressure's rising, do not go musky fishing.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time. They will not move.
Yeah, it is something that's on the bucket list for me, but it's not something I'm gonna drive myself insane for. Maybe in a day in November I'll get a call, see if you want to give it a shot. But I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose days on the ocean for that.
If you want to become a successful muskie fisherman, I'm gonna tell you the biggest secret. Okay. Find the lake that has a lot of muskies in it and just start bass fishing. That's it.
That's a good tip there, guys.
That's all you have to do. Even go in the Delaware River and just fish for anything else. Fish for bass, walleye, smallmouth, fish for anything but muskie. And don't even think about them, and you'll get one on accident.
So basically what you're saying to the people is go out there and just expect the unexpected.
Go out there and fish for something else, and you'll that.
Absolutely, guys. Well, Joe, we're running out of time, man, but I really appreciate you taking the time and coming here and talking to us and explaining a lot about what you do. And I hope you guys go check out the Multi-Species Angler podcast. And I will leave links down in the description down below. So go check it out. And once again, Joe, thank you. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully we get to go fishing soon together.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to work that out. I still got to work out to get a spot with our buddy, Scott. I made a promise that this year
yeah.
I will take my butt up to upstate New York and catch some salmon.
It is fun, man. It is fun up there. I'll go, definitely.
All right, bud. You have a good night.
You too, man.
Well, that was a lot of fun for me to sit down and talk to Joe about fishing. The area that he's in, North Jersey, for the lakes, that is definitely the better area for the freshwater fishing. You have so many species out there that are available to catch, and that's what's so special about New Jersey. I mean, we have this coast of beautiful fishing in the salt water, but don't shy away from the fresh, man. These freshwater fish, they're not as big as we catch in the salt, but they are still fun to catch. And if you want to try different things for your dinner plate, or just catch something else on your species list, the program that he's involved with the New Jersey Fish and Game, I mean, I think this is a pretty cool thing that I'm definitely going to look into. Maybe push me to catch different fish and scratch some things off the bucket list. And I encourage you to do the same. Get out there and bend the rod. No matter what it is, fishing is always fun, no matter what you're catching. So, guys, if you're enjoying this content, the ANGLERTALK podcast, please hit the like button, subscribe, share out with your friends, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see, anything else you want me to talk about on here. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm going to get out there and go bend some rods. Tight lines.
I challenge thee.